Dr. Eva, can you tell me just very simply what havening is and what it can do, how it can help us?
Havening is what we call a psychosensory modality. So by stimulating receptors on the skin in specific places, this was measured by EEGs and researched so that we kind of most efficient with it. We can act directly on the nervous system and the brain. We're specifically working with the amygdala when it comes to havening techniques. And the crux of the method is delta waves. So it actually used to be called at the beginning delta wave techniques or amygdala depotentiation techniques. But havening is, the word havening is, haven is a safe place. That's hence havening. To put you back in your safe place. And so by stimulating the receptors on the skin, we acting on the brain, and then we encouraging the brainwave oscillations to change. Because when we stressed, brainwave activity is very high. The dominant brainwave activity is a really high beta or gamma. It's very, very high. If we're in a traumatic situation, it's going to be gamma or even hyper gamma. And what we really need to do in order to heal, for instance, we need to bring those oscillations down. And when you have a traumatic episode, what happens is that if certain criteria are met, it's going to be what we call encoded neurologically. And what essentially that means is that your brain remembers the different aspects of that traumatic experience, sometimes even to the finest detail. Sometimes it could be to do with what color the sky was or something like that, like or what color top you were wearing or something like that. Remembers those details in that moment. It's like very, very, that hyper awareness, like boom, takes a screenshot of what's going on. And then every single time, and that's what people will be familiar with, every single time you are in situations or circumstances that are remotely resembling that original trauma, you're going to get this triggering, that neurochemical cascade, because the receptors on the surface of the amygdala, they're now like in great numbers. They're just stuck there and just waiting, and they're just waiting. It could be something really small, and boom, it sets you off. It triggers this cascade, and you're in the flap, and you don't even know. Sometimes people don't even know that it is to do with that original trauma. And all of that can be reversed with this method, with havening techniques. So it's an excellent trauma modality. There are many different ways in which to use it, because we can also use it for self-help. So we can use it in the moment of anxiety or stress. As we are experiencing it, feeling a bit anxious, we're starting to apply it, and boom, within a couple of minutes, we're feeling a lot calmer. If we're working with complex trauma, there could be that there was some one-off situations we need to clear, that maybe there was attachment trauma, there was other things. We can use havening in a variety of different ways to target that. And then finally, we can also use havening when we want to create positive alterations in the brain, because with the delta waves, we're also acting on the hippocampus. So if we want to use it, for instance, for affirmational work, for changing, belief change, sort of tidying up our subconscious programs to make sure that they serve us better, we can also use it in that respect. So it has many different applications. Mechanically, it's very, very simple, and you can learn it very quickly. Yes. And then it has this sort of wide range of different applications. Yeah.
Can you show me give me a demonstration on,
sure, we can give you a
demonstration on how we can use this?
So we've got three sites. Essentially, we have the face. So when we work with the face, it's stroking in this way, so kind of from the top here, or even here from under the eyes. And this is the sort of gentle stroking that we're going for. There doesn't need to be any force applied or anything like that. The tempo is sort of medium, it's not too fast, not too slow. Then we've got from the top of the shoulders down to the elbow. like this, and we always pick our hands up and we always swipe in the downward direction. Otherwise we end up stimulating the triple warmer meridian and it can be activating. So we always want to stroke in this way. And then the third one is hands. So sometimes people may be, and I really encourage people to try this in the moment when maybe they're feeling a little bit fearful or a little bit irritated or something's going on, anxious, to, even if they are amongst other people, they can do this, right? I mean, nobody's going to know what they're doing, so they don't need to necessarily go for the face, because the beautiful thing about this method is that you don't need a specific sequence. So with some other methods, like with EFT, you've got the sequence, you don't need a specific sequence. So if you really want to generate good load of delta waves and you like stroking your face, great, you can just do that. Equally, you can stick with the arms. One thing with the arms, you want to do it through one thin layer of clothing. If you've got too many layers of clothing, then obviously that's not going to work so well. But with one thin layer, that's fine. And then we've got the hands.